Well, hi, thank you for coming. This is my live video, mainly Pilates, about the hips. So really, you're not getting a workout, you won't be getting your heart rate up. I must ask you, if you are injured, you have bad hips, and you haven't seen a doctor or a physiotherapist, it's probably better not to do this. But if you have been diagnosed with some sort of hip ailment and you've been told to keep moving and keep exercising, then you do this up to your limitations. As with every single class I do, you should never ever go into pain. If you're going into pain, you're overworking. If you're overworking, your injuries aren't going to improve. So to make your injuries get better, you do these movements, tiny, and you will realise you will progress. Your body will allow you to progress quite quickly. So that's why Pilates is so good for rehabilitation of injuries. Then if you're, say, a runner and you are one of those fiends that doesn't stretch off, because who needs to stretch off? These are stretches that you can do and exercises that you can do. So brilliant. All of this you can take away, you can watch it again. There are some bits that are hard work, and if you want to, you can just rewind and do those bits again. Otherwise, just we'll rattle through it. I've no idea how long it's going to take. I reckon between 45 minutes and an hour and a quarter. Who knows? You know what I'm like, I talk too much. So let's get started. And as always, the most important thing is posture. Posture. So let's get that right first of all. So if anybody has any questions, I can actually see them. So hi. So you can ask me questions and I'll see them and try and answer them. Okay, so posture. We all stand, girls especially, stand like this a lot, don't we? So feet together. Turn your toes out in 10 to 2. Lift your heels behind. Now if you look, it's miraculous, Mother Nature. She's put my knees and my ankles right underneath my hips. Perfect. Now we want to get the neck lengthened. So if you look from the side, imagine you have a golden thread from here and you want to just pull it towards the sky. And now you just want to tuck the chin in slightly, so it's not dipping the head, it's tucking. Small movement from here. And that's lengthened my neck. Take your shoulders high, down and back. As though you're trying to get your shoulder blades, these flat things, into the back pockets of your trousers. And that's your shoulders down and back. It's as though you've got a rucksack on. So we've gone from here to here. Hi. And the next thing we need to do is get the neutral spine. This is vital for your hips. So if I'm standing upright, like I've just told you, and I want to get a neutral spine, put your hands on your hips and stick your bum out. So notice that I haven't moved my head and shoulders at all. They're staying exactly where they are, just sticking my bum out. So I'm arching my back. Now I'm pelvic tilting. The bigger the movement you have there, the more mobile your spine is. And the more you practice, the more mobile it will get. But if you look, these here are my hip flexors, and if you look how my hip flexors are being shortened and lengthened, look at that movement. So those are your hip flexors, we're talking about them already. And if you sit at your desk all day, your hip flexors get shortened, and that's why a lot of people have pain here. So you need to practice stretching them out, which is what we'll be doing. So your neutral spine, make that movement smaller and smaller and smaller until you stop in the middle. And that will be your neutral spine. You'll have a bit of a curve here, bit of a lump here, bit of a curve here. That's Mother Nature again. It's the best, most economical way of standing up straight with all your vertebrae stacked on top of each other using the least amount of muscle power. So you're most rested. But because we're used to standing like this, or worse like this, it actually feels like you're having to work really hard. But you're not, I promise. Pelvic floor is inside, lift it up inside. If you don't know where it is, ask me another. Oh, I've got a question. Oh, somebody can't hear me. Oh no. Gosh. Give me a wave if you can hear me. Yeah, I'm on full whack. So, can you hear me? Somebody's give me a wave. Thank you. You must be able to hear me. I hope so. Do I need to go over all that again? Neck lengthened, shoulders down and back, neutral spine, pelvic floor lifted inside, and then the final thing is the core engaged. Hi. Pelvic floor engaged. The best way to do this, and the quickest way to do this, is put your hands on your belly and cough. And when you cough, think about what your hands are doing. So cough. If your hands go out, you're not lifting your pelvic floor. If your hands come in, see that small movement, look, that's engaging your core. And you have to do that with all the exercises, and I'll be going on and on and on about it. Okay, so that's your body set up. Now we've got to think, I'm not even going to talk about breathing. Generally in Pilates we breathe out, exhale on the effort, but I just get on with the breathing. You should be breathing in for 4 and out for 4. Keep doing it. Holding your breath's bad. Panting is bad. It means you're working too hard. Right, so let's go on to, we're just going to very quickly mobilise the body. So I'm going to turn my neck to the right and back, and my neck to the left and back. Do that a couple more times. It's very relaxing on the breath. So when I stop, you can keep going, by the way, because I have to keep looking. Hi. So that is so good for your neck. Now we're just going to look up to the ceiling and chin to chest. It's really hard on the grass, it's quite soft. Keeping the shoulders down and back. Okay, now the shoulders. Imagine you have a pencil, and you need to draw a circle with the pencil. Apple.com can tell you more about Apple. We turned your monitors on, you weren't even here. Every movement we do, and I do realise I'm losing signal sometimes, bear with, it's not my fault. Crappy area we live in. BT have never reached here yet. Change direction. So every movement we do, you must start small, keep going, and then you get bigger. So we're going to do our arms both together. Circle them both backwards. Small first, because you have to check. Have you got any injuries? No, then you can go as big as you like. And then we're going to change direction, so you go back to small. So it's your body, and I can't feel a thing. Not only that, but I can't even see anything. So you must not go into pain. You must look after your own body. Always, every class you go to, wherever you go to. The gym instructors, if there's 30 in a class, they can't have eyes everywhere. Right, so you have elbows and backs of your hands at shoulder height. And this isn't shoulder height, this is shoulder height. This is so good for opening up the chest, especially if you've been sat at a desk, now diagonal. If you've been sat at a desk all day or a computer. Okay, move down to the hips. We're just going to swirl the hips round. So I haven't moved my head yet. I'm still upright. My shoulders are still down and back. Core's engaged all the way around. Pelvic floor's lifted. Keep going. Hi there. Oh no, I think it must be you, Ellery. Diz, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Change direction. Okay, oh thank you. Ellery, I think it's you because the others can hear me. Okay, now we're going to take that a little bit further. As long as you have no back injuries, you can take the whole lot around the bottom. So I did say earlier that if you have hip injuries, and I know some of you have to do this so gently because you're supposed to be looking after your injuries. And I know some of you are waiting for surgery even, so you have to really look after it and keep it mobile but without hurting yourself. And you might have times in the day, change direction, you might have times in the day where you feel okay. So that's when you should be doing your mobility and your exercises for your hip. But don't wait till, say, at night when you've been on your feet all day and it's aching. Don't do it there. Okay, now we're going to move on to the hips big time. What I want you to do first of all, this is a balance as well. So if you take your arms out to the side to help with your balance, but watch my leg. I'm bringing my leg up to the front. Now you see how my foot are facing up to the ceiling? Well, there's a tendency to want to turn it out, which is quite lazy. So I want you to just practice turning it out and in, because when we're doing the exercises, I always want it turned so that your foot is skyward or not tipping out to the side. Okay, so now we're just going to swing front to back. Okay, gently, gently. All we're doing is mobilising and practising our balance. Now the hard bit, and you can do this holding onto a chair or holding onto something, it doesn't matter, just in, out, just warming up the hip joint. It's a phenomenal joint. As you can see, it's a ball and socket in here, and it goes in and out, it goes forward and backwards, and you can rotate it as well. Amazing. Just same on the other leg, front to back. So if you had a bad hip, this might be your front to back. And what I insist is we're not doing this, because by doing this, you're actually, it's because you've got short or tight hamstrings. So we want to be upright all the time, rather than going like this. Okay, and across the body. Okay, I think we're warmed up now. We're just going to go onto your toes and down. Onto your toes and down. Okay, let's start. So, the first thing we're going to do, which is a power move, is a curtsy. So I'm starting with my feet hip distance apart. Take your arms out for balance. Check your shoulders are down and back, next lengthen, neutral spine. And simply take one foot behind. But if you look, I'm not turning my hips. I'm keeping my hips to the front and curtsy. So it's a thigh workout, and it's also, look what I'm doing to my hips, working out my hips. So let's keep going. So all these muscles here and around the back, they're all your hip stabilizers. There's loads of muscles there, and they've all got very long names. You know me, and all in 2 syllables. So rest when you need to. And if it's hurting you, don't do it. Anyway, these hip stabilizers, they're all the things that keep your hips keep going in the right direction, facing the front or facing where you put your leg. So that I mentioned Bambi earlier. You know, when you're walking on ice and your foot slips, if you've got weak hip stabilizers, you're the person that's going to do the splits. If you've got good, strong hip stabilizers, you're the one that will just go whoop, and you won't fall over. So it's worth having good, strong hip stabilizers. It's also what keeps your hips, your leg has got a ball on the end. It's what keeps your leg in the socket of the hip. Weak stabilizers are all stretchy, and they are the ones that let it pop out. So how are we getting on with these? Because we're just going to do one more big one for the thighs as well as the hips. I'll show you from the side. It's a lunge. So I'm going to step back. Don't know why I prefer it. So everything's set up, and then I take a step back and I lunge. Notice how I'm staying upright. So I'm not leaning forward, I'm staying upright. While I'm here, just pull one leg towards the other. I don't know if you can see. You probably can't see that. 4, pulse, pulse, pulse. So that's really switching my bum on. Pulse, and same the other side. Step back, and I'll do it from the side. When I step back, I'm not doing a curtsy. I'm keeping my legs hip distance apart. Lunge, staying upright, and now I'm pulsing, pulling this back leg forward and this front leg back. Pulse, 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 pulse. And stand, and we'll do the same on the other side. time to practice your pelvic floor as well. See, my heart rate's going up. 95. And one more on each side. Down, pulse. So I know a lot of you are watching, and the purpose of me doing this is for my regulars. So unfortunately not many of them are on Facebook. Let's change legs. So I'm also filming on my GoPro in case the connection fails. So I'll still be able to show you the video. And I'll be able to show them. Brilliant. So I suspect your bum's aching a bit now. Your thighs are aching. So the best thing to do here is kick your bum. That just stretches your thighs off. So keeping an eye on the time. We're going to do a balance again. And it's called the archer. So this is all about proprioception. Have your hands out at the front, palm to palm, shoulders down and back, and I want you to draw one hand back, past the body, watching the thumb with your eyes the whole time, and bring it back. You know where this is going, don't you, some of you? So you can crack on. So what you must notice is my hips aren't moving. My waist is, but I'm keeping my hips where they are. Right, so you can carry on doing that, or you can make it much more difficult, especially if you're on grass like I am, is as I'm going to bring this arm back, I'm going to lift the opposite leg. So this is a really difficult balance because I am moving my eyes. When you're trying to balance, we always say fix at a still spot on the floor, but because I'm asking you to move your eyes, it's tough. But really good for you, and we're getting these hip flexors moving. That wasn't very good. You notice nothing is done quickly in Pilates unless we're doing something sport specific for your particular sport, but otherwise everything is done on the breath. So despite being hard work, it's still quite relaxing. You might ache tomorrow. Fight it. Brilliant. Well done. Right, you may now have a sit down. I'm going to see if there's any questions. Any more questions? Hi. Okay. We're going to check that hip movement now. You've mobilised it a bit, was swinging it. Let's split the legs. Got my knees bent. Hand on one knee, just relax the upper body, but you know, preferably keep your shoulders back. Now I'm just going to take the knee in without any pain. Do not go into pain. Let's see how much movement there is. So, I was taught this by a very clever lady called Melody. I hope she's here. So, oh, bumblebee. So now what I'm doing is I'm going a bit further because it doesn't hurt at all, and a bit further. And I'm going to check if my other leg is better or not. Often one side is better than the other. You can do all this while you're watching telly. You don't have to get the mat out, put your kit on. You can just do it in your regular clothes on the floor while you're watching telly. Okay, I'm going to change legs now. Oh, look how much this leg is very different. Gosh. Doesn't hurt at all. Nothing. Nothing. Only the floor is stopping me going any further, to be honest. But if you've got that dodgy hip, you might just be doing this, and that's absolutely fine. That's enough. I don't know, have you got some music on in the background, or are you outside like me listening to all the nature? It's very, very nice. Okay, so now you know how mobile your hips are by doing that very simple thing without any pain. Now we're going to actually put some effort in, and if you'd had, say, hip replacement, you don't do anything. You listen to your surgeon and your physiotherapist. You don't try anything yourself beforehand. But this is one of the exercises that they'll give you. So imagine you've got a wheel underneath your heel. I want your feet straight up to the sky. I mean, look, my bunions don't let my toes should be like that, but they're, you know, misshapen, a bit ugly, sorry. But anyway, sit upright. This wheel under this foot, I'm going to wheel it out. Now what I want you to do is go as far as you can without moving that direction of foot. What people want to do is go as far as they can and turn the foot out. And also I'm lifting that bum a little bit. We've got to stay exactly where we are and just take it out. Now this hip now is working really, really hard. So it's very good physiotherapy. So if you just had an operation and you've been given the go-ahead to do these exercises, I would say first of all you do one side and then you do the other side. One side and then the other side. But to make it a bit tougher, because most of you haven't, you do them all on one side first. And it's really hard to keep your leg up, to keep your foot upright, vertical, because everybody wants to just turn it out. No, 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 no. And now we're going to do the other side. So you've got that wheel underneath your heel. I can go further on that side, much further. You'll notice this thigh's getting a workout now, this hip flexor's getting a workout, and so are all the adductors and abductors. They're all getting a workout. They're your hip stabilizers. How's that then? They know about it, don't they? So now I'm just going to wriggle it out. And you can actually lie down now. We're going to do some lying down exercise. I'm going to face this way so you can see when we do the exercise, but I want to get you into position. So I'm lying down, I've still got my neck lengthened, I've still got my shoulders down and back, and I still have my neutral spine. To find your neutral spine, arch your back, put your hand under, squeeze down on it, but we're not pelvic tilting, we're not lifting this bum off the floor here. Another way is to make a diamond with your hand and put your thumbs on your belly button and your fingertips on your pubic bone. Now if your pubic bone's higher up towards the sky or the ceiling, you know that you're doing a pelvic tilt. If your thumbs are higher, you know you're arching your back. So play with that movement, see what it feels like until you are parallel. So this is parallel with the sky. That's when you have your neutral spine. And now relax your arms. And now we're going to lift one leg to tabletop. This is tabletop here, where I've got, this could be tabletop as well, but as those that know me, we always have a flex foot, because while you've got a flex foot, you're getting a stretch in the calf. When you've got a pointy toe, people get cramp in their toes, and also you're actually contracting this calf muscle. So we're going to keep a flex foot. This is cheating. As soon as I take my knee nearer my chest from vertical, then actually I'm resting these muscles. So now take it down and try the other leg. Did your belly move at all towards the sky? Did your back peel off the movement's too tough, and I just want you to go back to this and keep practicing this until you can keep everything down. However, if you can't, you can do this. Okay. So now we're going to do a big hip exercise. We're going to take one leg to tabletop. The knee doesn't move at all. It's not about the knee. The whole thing, imagine you have a pencil on the end of your knee. I'm going to draw a circle with that pencil. Notice how my knee's not moving at all. It's all in the hip movement. So we're going to do 3 one way, nice and slow and under control. Notice this leg here isn't moving. Imagine the last glass of champagne in the house is on that leg, and you can't spill any. And the other way. Right, so I know some of you have got hip injuries. This is your exercise, nothing more. Let's do the other side. And the other side might be perfect. You can just give it some welly. We don't want the ribs flaring up, we want the ribs down. And 3 the other way. Keeping this leg still because now this has the only glass of wine in the house on it. Right, so if you have no injuries, you can now take your heel towards the ceiling and you can do small circles with your heel on the sky. And those who've been with me for a while know that what that really means is you can do now big circles. Nice and slow and in control. Still got your core engaged, upper body's not moving. We're going to do 5 one way, that's 3, 4. So if you wanted this to be a workout, you could do 10 each way. And then we do 5 the other way. Remember, if there's any pain at all, your circle will be here or here. So it's up to you to look after your body and look after your bones. And then the same the other side. So tabletop, drop it down, same the other side, tabletop. Small circles on the sky with your knee. And then straighten the leg if you want to. Small circles or big circles. Your body, your movement. 3, 4. So my hip clunks every time I do that. Clunking is fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I need my counting monitor. I think that's 5. And then 5 the other way. The tendency, a lot of people want to fling the leg round, but look how my body's moving. So you have to just do it nice and slowly and under control so the hips don't move. Okay, brilliant. Hug your knees into your chest, roll around on your spine. Hi, somebody else has arrived. So for a recap, we're working on the hips. We're mobilising them, flexing them, strengthening them, and learning all about them. Okay, we've got a mega workout coming up now. It's all about shoulder bridge. And shoulder bridge, we have the same starting position. Hands can be on the floor down here. And to shoulder bridge, you inhale and pelvic tilt. And exhale and you peel one vertebrae at a time off the floor until you're in a ski slope position. So, sorry about my bum, but this is where we are. We're hip distance apart and we build up and we roll down. There's loads and loads of things we can do with shoulder bridge to work your arms and to work different parts of your body, but we're working the hips today. So, here we are, we're going to do 6 of these where you peel up, stay up at the top, inhale, exhale all the way down, and rebuild. So this is really working your glutes, stretching your hip flexors, working your back, and I know a lot of you also like to bring the arms into it by bringing the arms up and over, which is just mobility for the shoulders. No drama. You don't have to do that. It's just a lot of my regulars do. So that's really good spine mobility. Okay. Now we're going to bring the changes, because you can also do it. Oh, I'm not going to do it that way around, that's horrible. Okay, we're going to do it now with wide legs. My toes are facing out at 10 to 2 and my knees are following my toes. And now I'm going up again. This time though, we're staying here, pulsing. Pulse, pulse, pulse. You feel your hips working now. And the hard thing is keeping the hips out. What they want to do is cave in. Keep it there. Come down when you need to. But if you don't, stay there. It is supposed to be hard work. And think about your pelvic floor as well. Keep it going if you can. If you can't, come down, hug your knees into your chest and roll around and come back into it. No holding of breath. Now your bum's really feeling it now, getting nice and warm. Backs of your legs are working. Rest if you need to. And bring it down. Hug one knee into your chest, then the other knee, and roll around. The next one I can do from here. This one, we'll do it with our feet together, which really shows you how bad my toes are, doesn't it? Anyway, I've got my knees together and feet together. This is quite tough because if you've got your ankles together when you're doing this, you must keep your knees clamped as well. And it's working all the inner hip stabilizers, inner thighs. So up we go and we stay there and we pulse, keep going. And we pulse. Again, if you need to come down for a rest, you bring one knee into your chest, then the other knee, and roll around and rejoin. So I'm not lifting and lowering, I'm staying up here near the top end, top third. Still got your thighs squeezed together. If your back starts to hurt at all, come down. Okay, roll down one vertebrae at a time. One leg into the chest, other leg into the chest, and roll around. And before we leave that position, we're now going to go up and do the whole thing. So it's down, up, down, knees together, feet together. Some of you know that if you go on your tiptoes, it's even harder. You're bringing your calf muscles and your ankles and your feet muscles into it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest if you need to. There is one more. Okay, down. Hug your knees. Hug your knees. Hi, somebody else has joined, I can see. There's one more, which I'm not going to show you from the front because it'd be a bit hideous. Final one. Knees and feet together, clamped, up into bridge. Feet stay where they are, but now the knees open and close, but without any of this movement. You're staying up the very, very top, open, close. Now you're working these muscles on the outside and the inner thigh. And you get a stretch after this. You keep going. You keep going, I'm just having a look. Very late. No worries. Oh no, somebody else's computer has frozen. So now go back down, pull one leg in and the other leg in, and you'll realise that all of this has worked really, really hard. So we're going to just do a quick stretch. Come up to sitting, soles of your feet together, and just butterfly your legs. Really quite nice. Try not to be like this. Try not to be like this. You want to be like this. Okay, now we've got a side one now. Anything we do on our side, we have to be in a straight line with our hips straight up to the ceiling. So I'm going to use this as my line. So put my hip on the edge and my ankle and my knee, all on the edge of the mat, and my shoulder. So now I know I'm in a straight line. So you could try this. So we don't want to be back here and we don't want to be falling over. We want the hips straight up to sky. To help, you can put this hand on the floor in front. Flex your top foot. And we're going to take the top foot so the outer foot is parallel with the sky. Now we can all do this and go all the way up here, but look how my hips fall back, and I'm using my hip flexors, which we've already used. We don't need to use them again. You want to use the side ones. So your movement is quite restricted, but it's using exactly the muscles I'm asking for. And if you look at it from this end, that's a bit more attractive. Well, maybe not, I don't know. So in other words, no turning of the toes, keeping them side on. So that would be about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now stay up here for 10. And down. 10 more. Some of you know that if you want to make it more difficult, you can take your hand off the floor, palm to palm, because it's harder to balance like that. So if it's harder to balance, your core has to work harder. Now 10 more up here, and then that's done. Right, so now I want you to leave your hip where it is, bend the leg up and drop the knee to the floor. And this will give you a big stretch in the bum. If you tip your hip over, you don't get a stretch. If you keep your hip back there, you do. Very subtle movements. Okay, now I'm going to go on to our front. We're going to do a few moves now in box position. Box position, my knees are underneath my hips and my wrists are underneath my shoulders. So this is box. Let's do a cat-cow. Cat stretch, where I'm stretching my spine all the way up to the ceiling, back into box. Cow stretch. So anytime you've been gardening or working on the car or laying the floor, anything, and you've got a stiff back, this is the good exercise for you. Okay, so now we know where neutral spine is halfway between the two. Your shoulders are down and back, wrists are under your shoulders, from the front and like this. Now we're going to take one leg behind, out behind us, without lifting the hips, keeping the hips level and flat. We slowly lift the leg. So I'm not dipping my back, all staying put. So I'm just working my bum, all the backs of my legs. So slowly up, slowly down. Some of you know very well that you could be doing this. And same the other side. So you could be here. Oh, can you hear the lambs? Alright, we're moving on. Anytime you need to rest when we're doing these exercises, go into child pose with your arms out in front. It just releases off the back, nice stretch. So what we're going to do now looks better from this angle. We're going to do that Superman again, but now I'm going to take the foot, just touch the floor, tap it with my toe, and back in, and over the other side. So bigger movement as you can do without moving the hips. So the hips are staying still. So it's very good mobility for the spine. It's very good mobility for the hips. Can you feel how the weight is changing from hand to hand? And the other thing, don't do this. See this leg here needs to stay upright. You don't want this leg going out here like this because that's not good for your hip. Keep the hip up. My head is looking down at the floor in front as though I was reading a magazine. You keep going. Rest when you need to. Okay, and bring it in. Quick child pose. And of course we're going to do the other side. So, take the leg out, take it wide and behind. It's like the curtsy, but it's slightly easier because you haven't got all the weight of your body on it. Hi. Well, I can see a question. Keep going. I think I have a question. There's a cold tip close to my speaker. They're not cold. Sorry. Okay, and rest. So a really good rest here now. When you've been using your hips, if you take your knees wide and your feet close together and do your child pose here, you're now getting a nice inner thigh stretch as well. So from the side, you are easing your bum down onto your heels and stretching. Right, there's one more here in this position. Not keeping you too long. Okay, same box position. Now we're going to take the knee and the lower leg out to the side, like a dog cocking his leg. But we don't want to be tipping the hips. We're keeping the hips where they are. It's as though this leg is trying to stay on the floor and go out there. So it's out and in. Out and in. You notice this isn't lifting or lowering. How you feeling? Rest when you need to. Okay, and quick rest before we change sides. What's going on with my hair? It's falling out, isn't it? Child pose. And then of course we're going to do the same on the other side. So, lifting that knee, cocking the leg, bringing it back in. Rest when you need to, keep working when you don't. So all these exercises, you can probably, keep going, you can press pause on your phone and do loads more. And then you're getting a longer workout. But I'm going to put this on, I'm going to save this video and put it on my YouTube as well. Okay, let's do one wide leg. And then of course we've got to do the side one on the other side. So for me it's this way now, isn't it? No, it's not. It's this way. I hope you can remember which side you did. So I'm in a nice straight line. I've got this hand here for support. Hips are straight up to the sky. Feet are flexed. Top leg is going to raise and lower. Okay, raise and lower. Raise and lower. counting. How many? You've still got your core engaged, still got your pelvic floor lifted. Okay, last one here, and then we're going to pulse at the top. And 10 slow. Don't forget you can do this to make it more difficult. And 10 pulses at the top. And then lower it, bring the knee to the floor, but keep the hip back there, and then you get a stretch in your bum. Brilliant. So we've got one more work exercise, but if you don't want to do any more work because you've worked really hard, you can just have a lie down. But otherwise, we're going to do scissors. And again, I'm going to show you this from the side. Same starting position. Basic scissors, bring one leg to tabletop. Remember, you don't move your spine at all, and take it down. And the other leg. So we're going to try and upgrade that. You can carry on doing that, or you can bring one leg up. Now I want you to push the spine towards the floor by imprinting. Thumbs on your ribs, fingertips on your hips. Draw your ribs down to your hips, not the other way around. So I'm not pelvic tilting and trying to tip my hips up. I'm leaving my hips where they are, and I'm just bringing my ribs down slightly, and that switches on your six-pack and allows you to lift the other leg. If that's too much, always keep one leg down. So now we can do the scissors here. So again, notice it's not a knee movement, it's all from the hip. And if that's quite easy for you, you can keep it moving. Now remember, the longer the lever, the heavier it is. So some of you diehards who've been with me for a long time are doing this with straight legs. So we're here. If your back comes even a millimetre off the floor, it's too tough. So the only people I let do this quickly, so if you're doing another sport, cycling, running, anything like that, then you can do this quickly, because we have fast twitch and slow twitch muscles, and you don't want to forget about either or the other. So we do a bit of both. And then again, you can upgrade it again by going here. This is the last exercise, go for it. So you're really working your hip flexors now and your core by flexing your feet. Every time this foot comes up here, I'm getting a nice stretch in the back of the leg and the thigh. So, good workout. Keep going. Rest when you need to, and the rest is here. But don't rest if you don't. Still breathing. If you stop breathing, hold your breath. Go a bit purple. See, I've burned 246 calories. Not bad, eh? Okay, and bring it in. So, well done. You've done all the hard work. Now we're going to do some stretches. You might need, if you've got tight hamstrings, these are your hamstrings, you might need a block to sit on to make it more comfortable. So you just sit on the block, and it just gives you a little bit extra here. If you don't, then you're fine. We'll sit here. So the first one we're going to do is an inner thigh stretch, and if you look, I'm sitting comfortably upright. If you're sitting like this, even at all, it means you're tipping your pelvis back, and the reason you're doing that is because your hamstrings are too tight. In which case, that's when you get the block. But otherwise, sitting upright, I can sit here all day and there's no pain, my hip flexors aren't working. It is just my body keeping me upright. So now what I'm going to try and do now is keeping that spine exactly flat like this. Take my chin down to the floor. So what I'm doing now is stretching all the backs of my legs, and I'm easing off my hip flexors. So all these stretches you're doing at the end, you're going to hold them for quite a long time. So if you're going into a position that's too uncomfortable, you're probably swearing at me under your breath. So you don't want to be uncomfortable. But as you relax, your muscles will relax. You can just go a little bit further, maybe. I've still got my shoulders down and back. I haven't rounded my back. So you don't have to be bendy to do Pilates, because even if you're here, and this might be your stretch, you're still getting the stretch that I'm after and that you need to lengthen your hamstrings. So it doesn't matter where you are. It's just, I've been doing it quite a long time, so it'd be a bit sad if I couldn't do this. And walk your hands back up, and now take your hands either side of the leg, flex the foot, and now I'm taking my chin to my toes. So it's not like this, it's like this. Are you watching Melody? You'd be proud of me. When you want to go a little bit further, if you can, always do it on the out breath. So we could go, breathe in, on the out breath. And then relax down. Walk the hands back. Of course, we do the same the other side. I won't be rude, I'll turn to face you. So, I'm turning to face that foot. Hands on the floor to support my weight. Foot flexed. Chin. Who's shooting? And we're holding it here. No pain. No pain. Maybe go a bit further now. I am better on this side than the other one. And relax it down. Walking back up. Bounce the legs back together, because that's really, really nice. And we're going to do mermaid stretch. Mermaid stretch. Cross your legs. I actually hate being in a cross-legged position. Hurts my ankles and everything. Okay, so I'm in a cross-legged position, but I'm not like this. I'm like this. And now I push the geese, 4 geese. Push my knees open with my elbows. Just to open all the hips, and you'll feel a nice stretch around here. Never go into pain. Now take this hand out to the side, and this hand up, and stretch, and take it over. So now I'm getting a stretch all down the hip and all up the side. Can somebody give me a wave so I know you're still there? On the out breath, maybe a bit further. Thank you. And forward out of it. Swap the legs over, of course. I like this side better, by the way, look. So I'm not very, very bendy, really, am I? Pushing the knees wide. And then take this hand out and this hand up, and grow, and take it over. You hear the birds and the lambs. Lovely. On the out breath, you might be able to go a bit further. Notice I'm not trying to get down here, I'm trying to get here. And forward out. Now you can have a lie down. There is a really good stretch for your all your bums and everything. So cross one leg over the other, relax everything else. Push the knee away, which opens the hips again. Release that. Take your hands either side of the other thigh. Now you just have to lift your head and shoulders off to reach, and lift the leg off to reach. So now I've got a good grip. I'm clasping my hands under there, and I can actually now go back down. Some people have to stay here, but some people can go down because their arms are long enough and the legs far enough. Now I like to multitask, so this is giving me a brilliant stretch here, and anybody who's had sciatica or anything, this will be the stretch that your physio or your doctor will have told you about. But anyway, to upgrade it, we can also stretch the hamstring again by slowly straightening the leg. So now, by flexing my foot, I'm getting a stretch in the calf, the hamstring, this bum, this hip, and inner thigh, everything. So it's a really, really good stretch, but you have to do it gently, and you have to do it for your body, not anybody else's. I know most men can't even get their leg up that far, so it doesn't matter as long as you're doing your stretch for your body. Right, bring the leg down first, then bring it to the floor, uncross the ankles. Same the other side. Cross the ankle over, push the knee away. Grab the back of the thigh, relax down if you can. This elbow is pushing my thigh away, giving me a stretch in the bum and the outer hip. And then I slowly raise this leg. I know you haven't got time to stretch, nobody wants to stretch, but by doing these multitasking stretches, it doesn't take as long, does it? Because you can do 2 stretches at once.